Hello, listeners. Guten Tag and bienvenidos, and welcome to Uber Cinco, the podcast where we deep dive top fives. This week, our two contestants will reveal and defend their top 5 ways to procrastinate. They've been spending all week hemming and hawing and dillying and dallying and just scrambled to put their list together on the back of a Wendy's napkin moments ago. We've got the world's first man to win 10,000 levels of Candy Crush, Mitch Brinkman. How you feeling, Mitch?
Hello. Hi, I'm feeling great. This week, I'm doing Small Business Awareness Week, and I want to pimp out Stan Koska Sporting Goods in Wapaton, North Dakota, and of course, my old favorite, the guys I mentioned weeks ago, Mike's Liquor in downtown Ely, Minnesota. Mike's Liquor, go there for your liquor. Mike's Liquor, they're the start of a good time. Here we go.
All right. I hope they doubled their inventory after they get the Uber Cinco bump. And facing off against Mitch, it is the man who has never filed his income taxes before April 15th, Brian Ernst. How's it going, Brian?
Good. I always get them in just late enough to not get arrested. Hey.
All right. If this is your first time in the Uber Cinco den, let us wake you out of hibernation with a quick rundown of the rules. Each player in the den has spent time with today's topic, arranging their top 5 answers in order of importance. Those answers have been submitted to the host, who will moderate the game, awarding points to the player with the most poignant answer.
Starting with their number 5 choice, we will move up the ranks until we reach each of their top answers. But if both contestants happen to have the same answer on their list, well, we have an Uber stare-down.
You will hear the official Uber Cinco siren, and both players must reveal their answer and what number they ranked their submission. An Uber stare-down is all or nothing, with one player earning 3 points. After all answers have been read, the host will reveal the final score.
And as host, I'm entitled to institute a house rule. Today's house rule is, of course, get to the goddamn point. And as a reminder, don't forget to stick with us until the end of the show, where I, Nathan Henenfent, will give you my Fast 5 send-off, where I'll rattle off the definitive list of the top 5 presidential election concession limericks.
Ooh, I'm excited.
Before we get started, a quick reminder to please drop us a review wherever you download podcasts, and be sure to share it with your friends and smash that like button. If you have a topic or Fast 5 you're dying for us to cover, head on over to bizbear.biz to submit your suggestion, and do it today. Don't wait. All right, here we go. No more procrastinating. The time is now. I need your number 5, Brian.
Number 5, I am calling the Tummy Rumblies. This is where you begin eating incessantly, because if you're ingesting food, you're just keeping yourself alive. This is a necessity. Even if it's a snack food, this is still fuel for the brain that will make the task you're setting aside benefit, okay? Mm-hmm. This is finishing the family-sized bag of sour cream and cheddar Ruffles by yourself, since you've already made it halfway through. Commit, damn it. And deciding to have a Pop-Tart for the first time in years, because that recaptured childhood makes for time well spent before starting your to-do. You need food. Just do it before your thing, and it'll all be okay. You gotta satisfy the tummy rumblies and keep finding new food in the cupboard before you move on.
Are you eating this bag of chips at the computer when you're about to write the paper? Is
yes,
that where you're eating? Okay,
of course. Okay. And then, oh shit, the bag's empty and my fingers are dirty. So now I have to go downstairs to the kitchen, throw it away, wash my hands. Oh man, I'll chew on this apple for a little bit. Oh, what's in the freezer? I'll eat this Uncrustable that's covered in protective ice, and maybe I'll eat that fudgicle that's been sitting there for a while too. And then, man, it's dinner time. I should probably cook something up. I'll get up to that paper in a minute.
This is also a distant cousin of like the if you're in college to do a term paper, it's like, well, I got to get on the exact right mix, a cocktail of Adderall, caffeine, and white wine, spritzers or whatever. You know, I'm not going to drink that much because I need to be focused. But I mean, I'm definitely not going to drink because I'm 19 years old and I'm in college. So yeah, but I need to be functioning just right. And then if I overdo one, that means the only thing I can do, I'm running out of time. So I can't wait for it to wear off. I've got to balance it out with the other. So
exactly.
Yeah.
You got to eat, man.
That is true. I think the greatest tasks to do in this situation are always those that you can convince yourself they're good for you, right? Obviously, like it's necessary. It's not just you're killing time, but like if I don't do this, I won't be healthy, or or I won't be able to live, function. Is in your case,
I will literally starve to death if I don't have a Twinkie right now.
But the real problem is usually just I won't be satisfied unless I do this. It's not really a necessity, but I need to be satisfied with this salty or savory or sweet craving. Then I will finish this open heart surgery that I'm in the middle of.
Have you ever ate so much that then you were too full to do the paper?
I'm sure I have. I probably passed out and took a nap and forgot. So, but I eventually did it later and I got it done. It's procrastination. It's not avoiding. It will get done, just not right now.
Oh, so you're like the paper's due on Wednesday and this is Sunday night.
Oh no, this is Wednesday at 5:00.
Oh, okay. Paper's
not due till midnight. It's now 11:15. Paper's got to get done. Yeah. Submit at 11:59:46. Yeah. Hit that button and then you're in. Yeah.
And then you're in. Yeah.
And you get an A. So it's like, what's the point? Why did you have to do it earlier?
I love how we're still talking about papers. I haven't been in college for 11 years. I know,
this is what Mitch brought up. It was just, it has to be a paper apparently in this scenario, but I mean, I've avoided more adult things by just eating too.
like commitment.
Oh,
dealing with the death of your grandfather.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't have time to go to the wake. I had to finish the microwave popcorn. I eventually went, and I also missed all the annoying relatives that weren't there. I got to pay my respects and be full.
Sure.
Procrastination is the way.
Sure.
All right. Well, Mitch, what is your riposte? I need your number 5.
Mine is one that everyone across the world gets this, especially those who consider themselves capable at any amount, I would say, and that is giving yourself deadlines. And these deadlines always get closer and closer and closer and shorter and shorter and shorter. So at first, you're doing something you actually really enjoy, whatever that is, like watching movies. Maybe you're watching some Netflix, playing a video game or something, or, drinking with your friends or something, whatever it is, or making a movie, whatever it is. Then you think, okay, I've got 6 hours to do this project. That's actually too much. I can do it in 3, and this will actually help me sharpen, and my skills will get better. In that 3 hours, you're like, you know what? Who am I kidding? I can do this in 2.5. And then you take a really long trip to the bathroom with your phone, and then you're like, you know what? I think an hour and a half is all I need, and then maybe you get a little hungry, sure, but then an hour's left and you're like, this is it, let's go. And you start it and then you realize, shit, I needed 4. And I can't tell you how often I've said in my brain as I'm, exploding cars and flying planes on like Grand Theft Auto, if you will, and just being like, you know what? I can do my laundry. I can repaint my bedroom, do all the dishes, and cook a 4-course meal. That'll take me 2 hours because I can do all those kind of at the same time. I think I'll just play for another hour and a half. And that's it. And then I'll stop. And it never works. It never happens. But I will say, the less time you give yourself, normally, the more it does sharpen your focus. But that only works, of course, with tasks or things you're doing that you know how to do front to back. Like, if you give yourself 2 hours to like read a whole chapter of a textbook and then talk about like European banking policy, like during, the Industrial Revolution, probably not going to happen. That's going to be more difficult. But I think that, we always think we're more powerful than what we are. And on those days when I give myself all the time I need, I just say, I'm going to take the whole day and I'm going to do these tasks. It normally ends up taking 6 hours. And then I go, why the hell didn't I do that faster? And then it's kind of that thing you're like, oh yeah, that's how long those things take.
Right. That was a beautifully eloquent description. I can say that I've seen this firsthand in your real life as
what?
You and I,
come on.
You and I being roommates. I remember we were playing a couple spirited rounds of FIFA, and you had a paper due, and back to the papers. This is going to be, I guess, we've clearly never matured past age 22, so that's where we're stuck.
I mean, college is the best example of procrastination. I think it's going to come up more and more. So.
Yeah, but we were I bowed out because you're like, yeah, I really got to get some work done. I went into my room in the apartment we were sharing at the time, and I was starting to drift off into dreamland, and then I heard the opening notes of the soundtrack of Red Dead Redemption coming from the living
room. Yep. Oh. And I probably got an extension on the paper because I said the internet went out or something, or we had a power outage or something like that. But
and this all stems from my theory that I believe Mitch is a time optimist. You're never late. You're never procrastinating. You're just a time optimist. You think it will happen in this period of time and you will get it all done, no problem. And I heard my friend Kristen call herself this once. She was just like, I'm not late. I'm a time optimist. And I'm like, that explains people who are late all the time consistently and people who are got the over ambition to fit as much as you can into the hours of the day. And you've always been, I think I've heard you say on several occasions too, I'll sleep when I'm dead.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You maximize every hour.
I never look forward to going to sleep. It's like, well, my body is shutting down now, so I have to go get some rest. The only time I'm excited to sleep is when the next day, I'm going on vacation or we're shooting something the next day. Something where other than that though, it's just a normal day. It's well, who cares? But
what's going on? I feel like I get this. Your number 5 happens whenever I have to render something. When I'm exporting something from the computer, I become push the deadline until, especially when you get, for the nerdy people who are listening, a very complicated After Effects file. There's text, but then there's something moving in the background. You're like, well, if I let the whole thing go, it's going to take 2 hours. But if I render out 10 seconds of the background and loop it and then just put the text on top, I can get this done in 10 minutes. And I start playing this with myself. I'm like, okay, I can get that done now to get this uploaded in time. So I feel like I've definitely been there in the nerdiest of aspects.
All right. Well, I will procrastinate no further and I will score this round.
Thank you.
Brian, the call of bodily functions is completely necessary. And so I've definitely fallen prey to that. So I'm going to give you 2 points. And then Mitch, that was beautifully delivered and absolutely universal, I think. And you portrayed it in a very vivid way. And I'm going to give you 3 points.
Thank you very much.
We will head on up to round number 4. Brian, blow me to the moon.
Nathan, with pleasure. Comfort entertainment I have as number 4. Entertainment that's comforting. So I call this the one more episode effect. This is the rewatching of The Office, for me, Entourage, Parks and Rec, It's Always Sunny. It's easy to lose what was supposed to be an ambitious Sunday to one of these shows because you're just in the mood for it. And I praise Netflix for giving me the passive aggressive warning. Are you still watching? After 3 episodes? Because sometimes I need that. And the best reason for that is when you fall asleep with Netflix on, you're watching a show or a series, it will automatically turn everything off because it's just like, I've hit 3 episodes. We're done. We're there. There are times where you leave HBO on and you wake up at 4:30 in the morning and you're a season and a half deep in South Park and Randy's yelling and you're like, where the hell am I? And why am I so far ahead? This is nuts. So Hulu and HBO don't stop and they are just enablers at this point. And sometimes I can't with them. And especially when something I love leaves Netflix, I know I'm going to lose more time in my life because it's moved to a platform that won't be able to, but encourages me to procrastinate, I should say.
I've definitely done the wake up a season and a half later thing a couple of times. And my first reaction when I was waking up is like, oh, I'm a time traveler. All right. but then it dawns on me. And then it's so frustrating to try and go back and figure out exactly where you were when you fell asleep. And then you go back and you're like, oh, I didn't see this. But then a couple scenes later, you're like, oh, wait, no, I definitely do remember this.
Yeah. And it's it's this kind of comfort entertainment that keeps me from catching up on the things I should be watching. Stuff that I'm like, oh, I'm going to watch that eventually. Oh, I'm going to start that new show. Because like you, I hate that feeling of when I fall asleep, on something that I want to watch. I have to remember where I was. I know people who fall asleep to podcasts. Like I couldn't do that. I like listening to every word, especially if it's a story. Like
no one's ever fallen asleep to this podcast, surely.
Hell no, you can't.
Wake up!
Wake up! Yeah, falling asleep to that or something that you're really engaged in, like documentaries or whatever. It's just like you can't get back to where you were. You want to pay attention. So I retreat back to this comfort entertainment type stuff I've seen over and over. Animated movies, these kind of serialized comedies. And then you're like, I could have been watching something new. And I keep procrastinating and pushing those down the road. But c'est la vie.
I was just about to ask why, if you're not locked into these shows, why watch them? Why not just turn off the TV and give your body a better shot at a night's sleep?
Because I can't fall asleep without the TV on. Has to be on.
Ever?
Rarely do I fall asleep without the TV on.
God, it's a good thing you were born after the invention of the television.
I know. I don't know how I would survive.
You're like, Ma, Pa, I'm sorry. There must always be a fire going at the foot of my bed. I'm sorry.
And I know that's bad for the psyche. It's bad for everything. But to me, even if you just turn it down, it's no different than having a white noise machine at that point.
Yeah. Damn.
Mitch, are you a white noise guy?
No.
Look at him. Look at him. He is white noise. I don't know what that means.
That was really like a really rude thing to say, Brian. I can't believe you'd say something like that, you jerk. No, we have a second TV that sometimes as like a dirty little treat I'll set up in the bedroom if we want to snuggle and watch something.
Okay, I don't like where this is going.
Well, hold on. No, I don't use the web browser on the Smart Hub enabled software on the TV that often, but you know, sometimes we'll put it on, but I always turn it off before I go to bed. I don't fall asleep to it just because I know that like if I stay up on the computer or near the TV playing video games, if I try and go to bed right after that, it's not happening. Like I'm up for an hour or so. I try and get away from those screens for a little bit at least, but
see, that's the healthy option, but no.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's each to their own, different strokes for different folks. Everyone's, cookie jar is full of something different, so.
Well, all right. Well, Mitch, what's in your cookie jar at number 4? Let's see what you got.
Much like Natalie Portman, it's gold. And my number 4 is one of my favorite ways to procrastinate is making sure that I still like every single piece of clothing that I own. And then also making sure that it fits as well. So like this is the time when I'm like, God, I should really probably start writing that new story or like like maybe sending out some more resumes or something. But then I think maybe I should try on all 5 of my suits and see and just make sure they all still fit. And then also I should try on all the different dress shirts I have and make sure each one has like at least 3 good tie options that also match them maybe. And then also like go through all those pairs of shorts that I don't wear that often and see like I still like them, right? They still fit, what else? Go through all the hats that I have, put them on, look at them in the mirror a little bit, like, oh, yep. Okay. If I don't like them, put it in a bag, maybe bring it to a donation box. Or if I'm not going to donate it yet, bring it down to the storage unit. My God, the storage unit's a little haphazard. Oh, there's some more clothes down here. I need to bring those up and, make sure I still like them. And so sometimes that can be a bit of a task. And I will say during, the season changeovers that this is a bigger task than in the middle of a season. But I do have a lot of sweaters, and sweaters, come in all shapes and sizes, and they take, sometimes you have to pair them with jeans or slacks or suit pants or shorts or basketball shorts just to get that look right,
The scary part
sure
about
you
this
still
is the exponential amount of permutations that you might have to go through. If you try every hat with every shirt, you're going to be, this is something that's going to get out of we're going to have to bring in some NASA scientists to see how long this is actually going to take you.
Yeah, I would actually love for someone to write me a computer program to just like automatically do it for me. That would be great. But Nathan, you also know me. I like wearing a button-up, nice shirt with basketball shorts. Sometimes I just like to go through all my nice shirts, see how they look.
True.
This was a big tradition of ours and our friend Steve when we lived together was basketball shorts regular shirt night. Which is I promised you more fun than it sounds.
Yeah, and then a big part of that too is it tucked or is it untucked? And I'm always a tucked guy. And right now I'll show you. Shirt's tucked right there. Shirt is tucked. So
the man can back up his talk.
Yeah. So this is a big, and this takes 4 hours minimum. And of course, there's going to be a stop for some snacks, for some coffee refills. Maybe I'm doing laundry. If I'm doing laundry too, and I get into the pile of clothes, oh, buddy boy, I'm there for a while. So
Mitch, your wardrobe has always been a talk of my family. Because one of the first times you ever came over to my house was when we would do hang out on the patio, barbecue, drink beers, and do that. And you wore what you called a pair of Nantucket red shorts.
Yes.
And my dad called you Nantucket Red instead of Mitch for months after that because of your very specific detail to your wardrobe. And I wish I had this procrastination skill of yours because I feel like I'm truly an American when it comes to my clothes because
you just love denim.
Just love denim.
Oh, okay. All right.
But mainly because like Americans aren't poor. They're just disenfranchised millionaires. They're like, I will be rich one day. So this is why I am. Every time I see something that I know doesn't fit, it goes into the ambitious pile. Like, oh, I'm going to be that size again in the future. Don't worry about it. I'm not getting rid of this. So my clothes just pile up. And I never do anything about it. And I need to have this skill to take care of it. It sounds like.
Well, Mitch and I are going to have to come up with a hard deadline for you. And then away you go. Yeah. I mean, a hard deadline for something else.
Yes.
Yeah. Dude, have me over. We will do a fashion show all day. It will be great.
And also on that day, don't invite me over.
Yeah. We'll just actually, Nathan can just zoom in. He'll just be on the Zoom all day with us. That'll be great. That'll be awesome.
I can't wait. I also can't wait to give you scores for this round.
Yes.
Brian, that was completely relatable to me. So that's 3 points. And then Mitch, I actually went through the exact thing. I donated 2 grocery bags of clothes a couple weeks ago when I had something else I should be doing. So 3 points to you as well. Or not Mitch, sorry, Nantucket Red. I meant to say. Anyways, Brian, it's your turn for number 3.
Number 3, I am calling new skill overdue. So instead of doing the thing I'm supposed to be doing, I'm going to go learn something new because I've fallen down a rabbit hole of some kind. So for me and probably for Nathan, this could be like, oh, I need to finish editing this thing or I need to get ready for work, but I'm going to try and learn the song on guitar instead. Or when I had a piano, I was like, I'm going to watch some YouTube videos and try and figure this thing out. Or more recently, like, oh man, I really got to be doing this, but instead I'm going to go watch This Old House reruns on YouTube because I mean, you can't.
That's amazing.
You can't be working on what you need. You need to know how to install a header when you're making a cutout in a load bearing wall because you got to have a jack or make a jack out of 2x4s to temporarily hold the structure while you're installing the new studs for the header to rest on. So
this is only from the Bob Vila era, I'm hoping.
Oh no, I like what's his name? Tom Silva. Tom Silva. Yes.
Minus 5 points. This is a
you're
Bob
a
Vila
Silva
house.
slut, I guess. He's a Silva slut. Oh,
so
okay.
He's more of the generation that they've now put on YouTube. So the Bob Vila ones are not there, but this guy, I just kind of like his Northeast accent. He's always in full Canadian tuxedo. He's always in full denim, head to toe, and he knows everything. So I get stuck in those. I even watched a lot of those while I was writing this one. So I was like, oh man, which ones did I watch? And I looked at my YouTube history and I rewatched them and I watched them again because it just works. So usually this new skill leads down like, oh, like, cool. I want to learn how to build this. One day when I can afford all these tools, I'm going to make this. But then that leads to fail videos, to camera tech vloggers to hour and a half old George Carlin interviews. And now I am really not accomplishing anything today.
Sometime in the near future, Mitch and I are going to head over to Brian's house, and there's going to be an enormous new shed in his backyard. And we'd be like, "What? How did that happen?" He's like, "Well, I had to write a proposal for a client. So this is what happened."
You will see a half completed shed because I started it, but then I got moved on to another project. So
that's incredible.
A couple weeks ago, I actually played guitar at a friend's wedding, and I had songs I had to learn. And boy, did I finish a lot of short stories that week. And it was a long night the night before the wedding. I can promise you that.
Oh man, I'm sure.
Wow.
Yeah. All right, Mitch, what do you have at your number 3?
This one is a capsule episode, if you will, for me. This is from a very specific point in my life, and that was college. And this is just called hanging out with friends, and it's so I'm gonna start you on a Friday. I always had my schedule, so I never had classes on Friday. So I'd have homework to do, but like, who actually works on Fridays, right? No one. Like, so. You're not doing homework. So you crack a couple cold ones, Then Saturday comes and I feel like I should go to the gym to sweat out some of the beer, And then afterwards I run into Jason and he's having some folks over for afternoon porch cocktails, Well, don't mind if I do. Yeah, I'll scoot on over. Don't even go home. Go right to Jason's house. And then after that, probably like 1 or 2 or like 6 gin and tonics, then I'm like, ooh, I'm hungry. I need a burrito. On my way to my favorite burrito place, I pass a bar that's got 25-cent chicken wings. And I'm like, oh, okay, chicken wings. Yeah, let's do it. And then I talked myself into needing to watch like Georgia Tech versus Georgia college football, even though I don't root for any of those teams. And so I'm sitting at the bar, I'm in it, I'm cheering. And then my friends are walking by, and those bars in Lincoln Park, the big open air windows, they see me and then they're like, hey, dude, you need to come over to Terry's house. Well, it's not Terry's house. It's his dad's bachelor pad down in Gold Coast with the rooftop deck. And it's empty this weekend, but Terry's dad loves Scotland, and thus he has a Scotch cave. Come with us. And I'm like, okay, let me close up my tab. Hold on one second. So then off to Gold Coast I go, still with my gym bag in tow. And then it's Sunday at 2:00 and I'm waking up and the sun's coming through my blinds. It's like, what the fuck time is it? But 3:00 the Vikings play. Minnesota Vikings, my beloved Vikings. So I got to watch them play from 3 to 6 p.m. And then after that, I haven't eaten anything today. I've just had water, my body feels awful. So I want to go down to Mangie's Takeout and I'm going to get a gyro and large fries. And while I'm there, it's stuffing that down my gullet, letting the grease wash through my body and take care of those bad alcohol vibes. Then my friends text me and they're like, hey, we're up at the Sexy Cool Wine Bar having a glass of wine to cap off the weekend. Come by. And I'm like, well, okay, sure. I'll come by for a glass of Malbec. So I do. And they know the bartender. So I get a giant glass and I'm just nursing it. And then I get home and it's 10:00 and they're like, okay, time to crack the books. So I open my banking 202 textbook before waking up as my forehead hits the desk. And the last thing I remember is the reserves percentage rate for banks with deposits over $100 million. Which is, I think, 8%. And then I forget it the next day. And then I don't get any homework done. And that's that. And then there's my weekend. So
I definitely lived many scenarios like that, both in college and afterwards, sadly. So I want to just review the different types of alcohol we drank throughout this day. Because I think we really ran through a spectrum there. I know the last one you said was we closed with Malbec, which is classy.
Yep, thank you.
You also said there's some scotches, probably some 18-year-olds mixed in there, I'm hoping.
Yep. A friend's rich dad, someone who's got like a second house in Gold Coast just to hang out in. So yeah. And
then probably some PBR at the bars, or what were we drinking at the time?
I'm trying to think of what a pint. We have probably a PBR or honestly, whatever's on sale. If they have any sale ones, or I'll probably just go like a Goose Island. something like that. But definitely beer though with the wings. You can't drink anything else but beer with chicken wings.
I think one measurement people need to use more often on how epic a day is the difference between the cheapest drink you had and the most expensive drink you had. I think that's a true adventure. That's how you mark a really memorable evening or day or both. And
the gin and tonics at Jason's house, I mean, that gin is going to be like Fleischmann's or something. You know, it is coming out of a handle, you know, and it's not real lime. It's like
gin.
It's like lime coming out of the bottle, you know, the one that's not like barely lime juice. Yeah. Right. And then, and of course, and beers at home is probably gonna be old style, you know, on Friday night. So.
Oh man, that was an epic story. I loved it, but you went through a whole day in college going on these epic adventures, and I don't remember my phone ringing, so I can only give you 1 point.
Oh my gosh.
And then, Brian, you were telling us about the learning of the new skills, which again, just super relatable. So you're getting all 3 points.
Hey.
Okay. And with that, Brian, number 2, please.
Hold on 1 second. If the host is Googling things on the internet while you're talking, does that count against you? I guess that's what I'm guessing here.
If the host is Googling things.
I think
you were on the internet. You need to listen to my stories because they're great, and you'll give me 3 points next time.
I wasn't Googling anything.
Okay, all right.
Maybe it was just a boring story.
Attention.
You know what? Mike's Liquor always provides a great story. Thank you very much to Mike's in downtown Ely, Minnesota, right by the Wolf Lodge. Okay, sorry, keep going.
Number 2, I'm calling scrollers or being sucked in by the social media algorithms. So I put this at number 2. I should have put this at number 1 because it sucks up that much time, but I'll defend that in my number 1 anyway. These are the biggest waste of time, especially since it doesn't give you anything other than the short-term reward. This is like if you got a craving, you go eat McDonald's real quick and then you just feel terrible after it. This is the exact same effect. And I went through on my phone, and whatever this new version of iPhone is, it tells you how much time you've spent on each of these apps. And I looked at the average of last week, and it is embarrassing. So these are real numbers from last week. I spent over 10 hours on TikTok, 6 hours on Facebook, and an hour on Instagram. In one
day?
1 week.
Oh, thank God. Oh, okay.
No, this was last week. But if you put that together, that's about, for TikTok, that's about 90 minutes at night, just laying in bed. Like you got to bed, just sitting there looking at whatever, and then you get to it and then just sucked in. Like, I got to get rid of this thing. Like, I can't be doing that anymore. So
yeah,
this is my confession that I'm putting out there, that in 30 years, no one will ever know what TikTok is.
Okay, well, talk about like, why are you addicted to TikTok? What's so good about it?
It's literally that. It's the short-term satisfaction where if they're anywhere from 10 seconds to a minute. So if you catch a good one that's a multi-parter, they're like, hey, I did this today, but they have to split it up in multiple parts. Before you realize it, you've watched all 6 of their parts for the day, and they're 6 minutes. And you're like, oh, okay, that's only one story. So, all right, let me go on to this next one. Oh, I found this new guy that like catches rattlesnakes in Arizona, takes them away, and then he releases them in the wild. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Does he have any more? And you click on that and you're like, holy shit, look at all these different kinds of rattlesnakes. I never would have known these existed. And then that leads to a guy who runs a reptile thing, and he's spitting out a bunch of animal facts like, hey, this boa constrictor is found in blah, blah, blah. And you're like, oh man, I want to know more about these animals. So you click on his page and you're watching all these damn animals that you didn't know about.
So you're on Animal Talk. Is that your jumping off point most of the time?
A lot of times that's what happens. Or then you find like, there's a couple of personalities who are just like really engaging, like high school chemistry teachers. And they're like, blah, blah, blah. We did this experiment this week. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. I forgot about doing that in high school and all this other stuff. And it's like, you learn something. And that's just the thing. I don't get stuck on the stupid, like 20 somethings dancing to the same song 500 times. It's you find these just like weird, like fact-based things. And then there's memes of the facts, and then you just get sucked into that, and it's the same thing. So this is an easy way to procrastinate.
Science teachers on TikTok. I did not know that's where this was going.
No, but it's a thing. And then it's like, oh, I'm gonna follow them now because now it's curated to my liking.
I don't know. I don't know what this says about me, but the other day, a guy I work with who is from England, who knows that I have a strong interest in English culture or whatever. He comes up and he's like, hey, have you ever heard of this show called One Man and His Dog? And I was like, no. He's like, this is going to sound weird, but I think you might like it. And I was like, okay, what? He's like, so it went off the air in the 80s. It was on before, when it was just the BBC, it was a monopoly. So there was no real quality control. And he's like, it would be on Sunday afternoons. And it was just a competition of a guy and his sheepdog herding some sheep. And the sheep would go over the hill, and then they would eventually go in the pen. And then they would have a long, protracted award ceremony with polite applause. And I was like, this guy remembered this, and he thought of me. I must be such a charming and charismatic individual. But anyways, I watched an entire episode last night. So.
It's again, different strokes for different folks. It's just whatever can suck up your time. And you're like, I'm engaged by this for whatever reason. I'm going to keep going down the rabbit hole.
It was super, super fucking relaxing. Wow. That's brilliant. Mitch, would you like to provide your submission?
My number 2. Well, here it comes. I'm a man who likes specificity. You guys know that about me.
Very true.
I'm a man who likes things a certain way. So number 2 makes sense, and that's organizing. The time is now for me to go page by page through all the writing notebooks I've used over the past decade, but haven't thrown away because each is only a quarter full, checking to see if I still need notes about credit default swaps from Finance 310, or if I want to keep the journal entry about running a stranger's cafe in Muscatine, Iowa for 45 minutes. Each entry is considered, pored over, and agonized. This is also the time when I organize all my pay stubs from 2011 to 2015 chronologically, just in case the IRS audits my turkey keister and comes for 5 years ago me. And who doesn't love books? We all love books, especially when they're ordered on your shelf chromatically and by size. But the collection just isn't cooperating with me, and it takes 6 tries to get all the books back on the shelf and looking cooler than it did before. And now I go in the kitchen for a glass of water or perhaps a cup of coffee, and the spices, they're just not sitting right. And I'm knocking them over in the cupboard a lot recently, and I think I need to build a makeshift spice basket right now to house all my flavors. And that only takes 5 minutes. It's very quick. I find an old 12-pack box. I cut off the bottom. Boom, it works. It's great. But then I decide I need to wipe out all the cabinets as well. And then everything needs to come out, and then I find that there's some oil and there's some honey places. So it goes from this quick little thing. I'm just in to get a cup of coffee, and it turns into 45 minutes of organizing and cleaning. And all the while, what's waiting for me? Again, a project, a paper, some writing I need to do, some calls I need to make, perhaps, people I need to reach out to, laundry, it's all there. But organizing is a big thing. Also, I just like to, you go into your files and you take out all the papers and you're like, ooh, what can I throw out? And you're like, well, they're in the files for a reason. You're not going to throw out any of them. You just go through the papers again. And you're like, okay, then I'll go back in again.
So what's the story from Muscatine, Iowa? That sounds like something we need to know about.
That was I wrote a great journal entry about it. It was in 2008 when I was there working on the Obama campaign, and there was a cafe down the block from our office, and I went there to get a coffee and a scone, and a lady got an emergency call from her daughter, and I'd been there 2 or 3 days in a row, and I think she'd known my name or whatever it was, but recognized me at least. And she said, I have an emergency. I need to go hey, my daughter needs me to go to school. Can you just like watch the shop until I get back? And I was like,
wow.
Okay. And I was like, do you want to like, how do I like take a payment? And she was like, oh, well, it's like this, you swipe here. And she showed it to me quick. And she's like, you open the register here, like showed me how to open the register and shit. And I was like, wow. And so I stood behind the counter and people came in. They're like, can I get a latte? And I was like, yeah. And this was, I had made lattes, I think my sophomore year of college or freshman year working at a cafe. So I made some lattes.
Oh my God.
I heated up some scones. I served coffee. And they're like, who are you? Did you just hire? Like, do you know Mary? And I was like, literally, I'm watching it till she gets back. And they were like, okay. And I was like, and they're like, do I pay or should I come back and pay? And I was like, no, I'll take your payment. Yeah.
So she trusted you not to rob the register, and they trusted you, both the owner and the patrons. This story is from like a TV show in the 1950s, like not even.
It was fantastic. It was a lot of fun, and I ended up meeting like some people that came by the Obama office later and like signed up to do some volunteer stuff. And
you got some votes because you remembered to make a latte.
I absolutely did.
If I was in that situation, that just sounds anxiety inducing.
Did Obama win Iowa that year?
He did.
I'm going to go ahead and say that you changed the fate of the nation.
You know what?
And indeed the world.
Mitch deserves all the points for this round.
He's getting 3 points. There's no question about it.
Well, and the best part about it, the next day I went in for lunch and she gave me a free chicken salad sandwich, and she had great chicken salad at that little cafe. So
that is the perfect ending to that. That was the most wholesome moment I think we've ever had on this show.
I think so.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah, thank you. It was great. It was a wonderful 10 days in Iowa. It's 10 days. It was like a dream. It was like a wonderful dream. I was never there, but I was there. Also on that trip is when I met Obama. I shook his hand and I said, "You look a lot bigger in real life than on TV." And he laughed. He was like, "What?" And I was like, "That's it." Yep.
So you've met Obama. I've met Obama. Brian, you've met a president of the United States, haven't you?
Yes, the hopefully soon to be ex-president. Yes, I touched his cheap suit before he was in office. Yes,
he's of course referring to Lyndon Johnson, ladies and gentlemen. All right, Brian, I think that you pride us with a strong entry, but Mitch just was that was a moment that will go down in the annals of Uber Cinco history. So Brian, I'm going to give you the 1 point. Mitch
fair.
Gets the 3.
Totally fair.
Brian, it's your move. Number 1. Let's do this.
Number 1, I'm calling the how do you do? I'll come back to you. So this is getting excited to work on back burner projects when something with a deadline is due. So this is my number 1 because it is a perpetual cycle that yields good results for doing the wrong thing. This is, I know I need to complete task A, but all of a sudden I have the energy to complete task X. That's all the way down the list that like, man, I really, really, really want to do that. I'm going to do that now when I should be doing the other thing that has a deadline. But this is the best way to procrastinate because at least it chips away at that to-do list of things you procrastinated on previously. So full circle procrastination here. And it's truly the only way to get anything done. I do this with a lot of editing projects. Like, oh man, this needs to get done today, but I need to back up these hard drives I forgot about. Man, I wouldn't want to lose anything today if I lose power. So I should probably have these 2 hard drives be backing up right now. Let the computer sit for an hour just so I know everything's safe. Hey, I procrastinated, but I came back and hey, look, a task is done. It's not the right task, but it's a task. So that happens where it's like, oh, fuck, I need to do the dishes because the kitchen smells. But like, man, this basement needs reorganizing. So a little bit of Mitch's number 2 is in there where it's like you get the fuel to light the fire that is in the incorrect forest. This is the horrible analogy that I will come up with.
Was that Confucius? He who said that? Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was Confucius. God, that reminds me of a old guy I used to work with at Jewel that had all of those Confucius jokes like in his back pocket. Whatever he would say is like, men who fly upside down have crack up. Like he would just say these things on a whim, passing you in the hallway. And you're just like, why? Why do I need this? So another way to procrastinate is listen to old man jokes while you work in the dairy aisle of Jewel. Not my number one, folks. So this is why this is my actual number one, is because it is my perpetual cycle of getting my life done. So that's my number one. The how do you do? I'll come back to you.
Yeah. Wow.
It seems to actually work.
It works.
As you are, some viewers and listeners may be surprised, but you are an adult with a house and a job, so it can't be failing entirely.
Well, house I do not own. Let's put that on record.
I knew that, but didn't volunteer it. So
I will volunteer that information. I am a luckily privileged little man.
All right, Mitch, our other lucky privileged little man, please provide us with your number one way to procrastinate.
For that white noise comment earlier, I just want to make it clear to the listeners, I am taller than Brian, so he is the little man. I'm the big little man, or the big man. Crap, I said that wrong. But here we go. Okay, number one for me. I put this at number one because like it is the stupidest way to procrastinate. And it's almost, I do it, even though I'm the only one who does it, and I don't do it with other people. It's almost become a bit for me because it's like, God, this is so stupid that I'm doing this. But it's like become a ritual when I get on the computer, like to do work on the computer. I'm like, got to go to Yahoo front page first and check the Yahoo news feed and see what articles they're fucking spinning out today.
Is it 1998?
Yeah. Does Yahoo News still exist in 2020?
It does. It does. And the only reason I go to Yahoo as well, because that's the location of my burner email account, where I send all my trash, email signups there. And so I have to go to Yahoo, and I found like they have the worst news feed ever, just the dumbest stuff they put out there. And so I grabbed a selection of headlines. This is just from today. This is not like best of the past week. This is just from today. Okay. Snooki, 33, calls herself a fit mama in ripped gym pic. Quote, I run to drink wine.
This is Snooki of Jersey Shore fame.
Yes, and guys, feel free to jump in and comment on any of these. I'll leave a little opening at the end of them. So,
in the middle of an election, this is on the front page of Yahoo News.
Yep, this is less than like 2 minutes of scrolling, if not. Okay, here we go. Number two, citing zero evidence, former House Speaker Newt Gingrich asked Attorney General Bill Barr to send federal agents to arrest election workers in Pennsylvania. Talk about a descriptive article title. My God, tells the whole story right there. So
during the most hotly contested election of the last 100 years, they lead with Snooki.
Yeah.
Yep. And here's another one. The controversies of 19-year-old TikTok star Zoe Laverne, who apologized for kissing her 13-year-old fan.
Was she a science teacher and kissed a student?
That's why I don't know who she is. She doesn't do science. No animals either.
I was curious because I know so little about TikTok. I get sent to TikTok maybe once every 2 weeks by my friend Ross. But so I looked in a little more to this, and she kissed a kid of one of her fans, but she's also currently really sad that Charlie D'Amelio is overtaking her popularity in TikTok.
Oh no!
It's another teenager, and I guess she's been melting down a lot. This Zoe Laverne. So there's that. Okay, next headline: 5 reasons your computer is noticeably slower right now, plus a secret weapon to speed it up. And their 5 reasons were: you're working from home, you're using a VPN, you're Zooming a lot, you're watching Netflix in bed, because I guess the blankets block the vents and your computer overheats. I don't know. It's very stupid. And then last one was you're full of cookies. So
wait, your internet's running slow because you're full of cookies.
You got to clear your cookies from your browser every now and again, guys. Don't forget to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought we were reaching into Natalie Portman's gold jar of cookies and just
nom, 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 nom.
It was just a
way
wonderful coincidence.
The way you said it just sounded like full of cookies. Christmas is coming.
Which, if anyone knows me, I will be full of cookies around Christmas time. So.
Hell yeah.
And okay, so here, next headline is, well, comma, Lori Loughlin is apparently a wreck in prison, just days into her sentence. God, I needed to know that. I needed to know that. Yeah. Here's the next one. Michael Jordan impressed by Vikings rookie Justin Jefferson. And I looked at that one. Ahmad Rashad told a reporter that Michael said to him, a basketball player was impressed by the talent of a rookie football wide receiver. So don't know why that had to be an article, but
sports guys watch sports.
Oh my God.
That's what it is. And then this one is, will there be a Holiday sequel on Netflix? Here's what we know so far. And I recently read a really stupid article on Vulture about why Netflix hates Chicago, and Holiday is one of the Netflix projects that just gets Chicago wrong. They're like, oh, here I am in Logan Square, and it shows it on the map, and it's actually like Hinsdale or whatever. And so like they're just totally doing Chicago dirty in all these shows. You may have heard Emily in Paris said Lou Malnati sucks and Giordano's is the best, and Lou Malnati said like release a press release saying like fuck that show, but
that was what it said. It said fuck that show.
I did not look any further into that one, but the last one here is one of my favorites, if not my favorite Yahoo News headline from the past week, and that is, dad slams daughter's elementary school over ridiculous lunchtime rules. Quote, I don't care. And I was like, I have to know what that is. So I clicked in, and it turns out the dad is angry because teachers sent home a note to ask him to have his wife make less fun lunches for their child, because the great lunches the wife was making were making the other children sad and jealous. But the dad, who had no part of any of this situation, got angry over it. So, yeah.
Oh my!
I am several IQ points dumber for having heard that story.
I just want to let everybody know that all the parents involved in that story are eligible to vote.
Yep.
So that's what we are dealing with.
Yep. So, so that's the little taste of the Mad Max post-apocalyptic garbage / chemical fire that is Yahoo News.
How often a week would you say that you scroll through Yahoo News?
I'd say it used to be more. I keep it down to 3 now. And also what you have to do if you're ever on there, don't click into the article with the left click. Right click and open it in a new tab. Otherwise, you just you get caught in like listicle, can't get back hell or whatever. So,
pro tip.
Yeah, pro tip.
That is the 7th and final circle of hell is a listicle that you have to click through.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although I did get 49 out of 50 on Can You Name These Comedians earlier today. So
there you go.
Good job.
And Yahoo, I've discovered, is famous for, like, if they have an article that says 24 ways to reduce like pollen and dust in your home. Number 2, like 14, 19, and 24 will all be the exact same thing. Just a repeat of the picture and the written content that goes with it. And then of course, like every 4 clicks, there's an ad too. So,
or like the worst, whoever came up with this should be executed by firing squad. Possibly a more painful method, but it's like top 20 ways to, I don't know, skin a cat, whatever. And it's like, number 6 is unbelievable. And so then you open it and it's like, oh, this is Liz's stupid list, but I got to hang on for number 6. But also if number 6 is unbelievable, why isn't it number 1? Oh man. Okay. I digress. I'm going to get I'm going to blow my top here. I need to give some scores here. No more procrastinating from the host. I need to score this number one round. Brian, with your tale of procrastinating but having a positive outcome at the end, you covered some ground that we'd already covered, so I'm going to dock you a point. But since it had a positive, happy ending, I'm going to give you 2 points. And Mitch, that was a weird, wild journey you took us on. I learned something about you. I learned something about the internet. I'm going to give you another 3 points. And the tally at the end of the day is Brian with 11. Mitch with a virtuoso performance has 13. You are today's winner.
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo!
Lucky 13.
Yes. Thank you so much. I just want to thank the great, incredible voters of the Midwest, aka Nathan. Thank you for voting for me over and over and over again today, and making me today's winner. And I would love to hold this title for at least 4 days, maybe 8 days, who knows? Thank you very much. Yeah, and hey, cheers again to Mike's Liquor in Ely, Minnesota, giving me the fuel and the courage to win. Thank you, Mike.
All right. Also, a quick note to our listeners. If you have not checked out our website, ubkstudios.com, and you want to see us explore the theme of procrastination in film form, we do have a short film called Procrastinator, which we are very proud of. Please go check it out. All right. That leaves us with the Fast Five, and that is the top 5 presidential election concession limericks. One of the great pillars of our democracy has always been the peaceful transition of power from one administration to the next, and the seal of trust between the two parties is traditionally sealed by the loser of the election delivering a concession speech, which is required by a little-known clause in the Constitution to be stated in limerick form. And here's not just 5. We have 5 legal limericks and then 1 illegal one that arrived after midnight. But I don't want to deprive you of this, so you're going to get all of them. Number 5, 1992, George Herbert Walker Bush conceding to William Jefferson Clinton. I didn't get 2 terms, just 1. Lost to a man whose morals are none. Now that I'm done, with interns he'll have fun, but in 8 years you'll be stuck with my son. I'm not missing that applause line. Let's give him some. Yeah, that's great.
Bravo.
Number 4, 2012, Mitt Romney concedes to Barack Obama. I won Massachusetts but don't want to live here. Utah's more my state because my skin's clear. Binders full of women. I won't support Yemen. I guess I'll go not drink a beer.
Holy, that's another. Thank you. Good job.
Fantastic.
You must be wearing your magical underwear today. You nailed that.
Number 3 is Aaron Burr. All that I ever did was wait. All it ever made me was late. Revolution I sought, but it's just about who I shot. Millennials will hate me. Just great. Number 2 from 1860, John C. Breckinridge conceding to Abraham Lincoln. Mr. Lincoln, they say I'm no leader, and in this campaign you were on a real heater. But take my advice, never pay full price to sit in box seats at the theater.
Oh,
fortuitous! That's don't touch that one. That's another applause from me. This is great.
Number 1, 1996, Bob Dole conceding to Clinton.
Oh yes.
I underperformed in the election. The voters won't give me affection. They say Bill loves the ladies, but soon they will pay me to sell pills that give me an erection.
Well done.
Yes.
Well done.
And then our illegal entry that arrived after midnight, but it was postmarked on election day, so we're going to go ahead and read it out. I mix soul music with passion, sold white shirts for much cashian. I released Jesus. I think that I'm Jesus, but really I'm Mr. Kardashian. And that is this week's edition of Uber Cinco. From UBK Towers in Berwyn has been
Brian Ernst.
And from the Southport Corridor is
Mitch Brinkman.
And I've been Nathan Hinenfen. And as Bizarre Bear always says, slack off today. You don't know if there will be time to slack off tomorrow. Auf Wiedersehen and adios.
You've just listened to Uber Cinco, a production of UBK Studios. Subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you get your fine podcasts from.
If you like what you hear and want to support the show, please visit our Patreon site at patreon.com/UBK Studios. Every little bit helps us keep the lights on and the bill collectors at bay.
Keep tabs on us on all the social media at UBK Studios, and most importantly, subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can see that we really are just a bunch of good Midwestern boys.